Ethereal Joey, back from the ashes, from the mist, with another banger. And today we're gonna talk about romantic love. What is romantic love? Romantic love explained by yours truly. Now, look, I've come to believe that you can't really be in love with anyone else unless you are in love with yourself first. Not in a cliche way, but in a way where you're honest, where you know who you are and you're willing to stay with yourself because everyone else you meet in some way is a reflection of you. Not a mirror that shows you what you want to see, but one that shows you what is, what you carry, what you avoid, what you're still learning to love. And so much of what we call romantic love is actually just a transaction. It is an unspoken agreement that says, I need you to be what I need you to be so that I can feel loved, I can feel safe, I can feel whole within myself. And so much of what people's idea of romantic love is actually the complete opposite. People say, I need you to be what I need you to be so that I can feel loved, I can feel safe, and I can feel whole within myself. But that was never love to begin with. That is just dependence dressed up as romance. When you love yourself, you stop demanding that the other person fills the space you haven't learned how to sit with yet. You stop insisting that love should look a certain way. And the reflection, the relationship can finally be what it actually needs to be in order to serve you if you actually love yourself. Not serve your fantasy, but serve your actual growth. And the strange thing about romance is that it's rarely what you expected because that's the romance of it. That's the romance. So when a girl is talking to me, and she's like, "Wait, I don't know about this Joey guy. He's kind of weird. He's kind of a weird spiritual guy." But then they're in my bed, panties dripping, so soaked to the core, and then they're like, "Holy shit! I didn't expect you to be so cool." Well, that's because romance is unexpected. You don't expect to get seduced by the other person. You get seduced. And when you're not in love with yourself, that will show too. It reflects back to you as over attachment, as you being overly clingy, as the fear that if you lose this person, you're gonna lose yourself. And that's the paradox also. The reflection becomes louder, more dramatic, more painful because it's trying to tell you something that you haven't been willing to hear, which is you don't love yourself. But when you are in love with yourself, you trust the relationship. Whatever takes place, you trust that what's unfolding has genuine information for you, and you don't need the other person to change in order for you to be okay. You don't need to control the outcome. You understand that whatever plays out is what needs to play out for the benefit of everyone involved, not just you. Because if you just want it to be what you want it to be, then you're being selfish. Sometimes being in love with someone doesn't mean staying or choosing them in a traditional way. Sometimes it can be many other things. Sometimes love shows up as friendship or as space away from. Sometimes the most loving thing is not to call it romance at all, but to let it become what naturally supports everyone in the relationship dynamic. That's what relationships are really about. Not fitting into, not fitting it into a rigid societal structure handed down to us by society, not forcing labels or timelines or roles, but allowing each person to reflect what the other needs to know in order to become more of who they are. And they do, as they do that for you. You don't have to impose rigidity on love. You don't have to decide what it should be. You can let it show you. And if you're willing to start with yourself and love yourself, truly start there, then love stops being something you chase or demand and becomes something you recognize in whatever form it arrives, guys. So understand this because this will change your life. Follow me, like, comment. 2026, I'm telling you, we're going crazy.